Ladies and gentlemen, my dear brethren and friends, greetings in his most holy name, the name he gave us to call him by, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. Some of you are from next door. Some of you are from faraway places. Some of you cannot be seen, therefore you cannot be counted. But nevertheless, we are all here with the beating of our hearts and the crying out of our souls for a better future. A better future for all of us. Welcome, my friends. As I stand here before you today, on this remarkable and memorable occasion, looking carefully at the important things that were sacrificed for, like our physical presence, to make today's event at this conference very possible. Whereas not so long ago we would have been slave to another, carrying out as every order, as every abnormal practices, as every wish. But hopefully, in the next few days, we will all be willing to carry out the wishes of our Heavenly Father through our togetherness and the planning of our tomorrow. This is a time for reflection, a time when we take a careful look at our past, a closer look at ourselves. This is a time for recollection, a time when we should be prepared on how we can do it, how we can use this time positively in our growth for this people. I realize that one could just imagine that when you take notes in your own individual lives, the time, the energy, the sacrifice, the lost opportunity is to remind us all to achieve, one must learn to sacrifice. We must get in the habit of sacrificing the things that are less important to accomplish the things that are most important, things that are worthy and beneficial to and serve as the ingredients to our existence of our very lives. This is done in order to allow life to be lived in full by putting as much as you could into it in order to get as much as you could out of it. What are we prepared to put into this conference, this gathering of God's chosen people? What are we prepared to achieve and to work towards? We have stumbled along the way, but we never crumbled. The bell never tolled, and we did not succumb. We are still here at the end of another 400 years. Some of us did not succumb because we did not kneel when it was time for us to stand. Neither did we stand when there was need for us to kneel. We did not cry when there was need for us to laugh. Neither did we laugh when there was need for us to cry. We of the Israelite Nation Worldwide Ministry did not beg when there was a need for us to give. The bell never tolled because by a mighty hand we survived. It could have been worse, but by faith and the power of the mighty hand and the Spirit of truth, even the Comforter, we made it through. Today you and I are witnesses to the plain truth of survival. We are witnessing a journey that had started some time ago along sometimes rough road, sometimes with stumbling stones, sometimes the feet that were supposed to walk in the straight line of life slipped. And we barely made it back up to stand tall for a moment and spend a day like today. These are definitely things that are important in our lives and our future. Some we could see within our own spiritual dominion. Some is made known to us through some unusual circumstances. And some, my dear friends, appears to be very natural. Whatever is the means, once you were made aware, it is always up to us to take the opportunity and proceed into that God-given field that was laid out for us by that unseen hand. We have grown not to really see ourselves for who we really are. We were too busy admiring and copying others and their culture that blinded us from our seeing ourselves. We have seen so many types of imitators about us, for which we got no credit. We have seen it all and recognize it, but still remain in the shadows of the pregnancy of our burnt-out lives. And most of us have given so accustomed to the spirit of division that it becomes a natural way of life to so many. We are the only race of people with a shallow haven of storefront so-called churches, because we refuse to be together in a single accord under one umbrella. We are still carrying out Master's doctrine and practices. We are no longer allowing Master to divide us like he did in the past. We are automatically doing it ourselves and doing it to ourselves. My people are the only ones per capita that are all called pastors, preachers, so-called reverends. Everyone is claiming a relationship with a God somewhere in their ignorance. This conference is called today to collect the loose pages of separation and bind a new book for a new day of togetherness. We are not only to sacrifice to achieve what we presently have or what lies in the bed of our subconscious, but the measure of our achievement, it must be to surpass our average goal. When that is achieved, then we should now try to lead in a respective field in our own community or even for the country for which we reside. It has always been my dream that in reality we will one day have an Israelite in the upper office of government to help us change the laws that worked against us, in the higher office of education to prepare our children for the future, to make laws that will help us, and in the supreme office of finance, so that we can build a solid future for our community. This, my dear friends, should never be an impossible task. For 400 years, we've been blaming others for past dilemma. We have yet to get off our backs and our sides and raise our status to a height of respect to show the world that we refuse to stay down and watch the blame that we place before us be magnified. We continue to stay down and to be trampled upon. We as a people refuse to remove ourselves from the condition, but continue throwing the blame and still doing nothing about it, but keep on existing on the substance of that blame. We keep reminding ourselves that everything that happens to us, it is because of others. And the blame goes on like a terrible off-key song that is out of tune. I am here today to tell you that we as Israelites should make an effort to change this way of thinking and show the world that we as God's chosen people were placed here to be leaders and to lead by example. And today should be the best time to re-examine ourselves. Like in the army, we put one foot forward and let the other follow. This is the only way we can march forward professionally and productively. If we truly believe in who we say we are, we do not need to shout with the breath that will soon disappear in the grave, where we are still stagnated. We are still stagnated like our past condition. What we need to do is to show the world who we really are by our progressive actions. Not so much our thinking, but our actions. Show them we can take back the power that our fathers once had. Show them as Israelites we can stand our own 2 feet in any kind of weather. Our Israelite men should learn how to be better fathers. You should be re-educated to know that the child is yours more than the woman who carried it like they ate to the seed for 9 months. So that our sons would grow up to be better fathers themselves and learn how to take care of their sons and daughters. Too many of us have grown up without fathers. No one to call daddy in that time of trouble, misfortune, mistakes, and misconduct that this world has made us to believe that it is in our own dilemma and it is our norm, that it is our way of life, that it is in our DNA. We swallowed it up and we too believe that it is truly our way of life. We were not only robbed of our dignity, we were also robbed of the very foundation for our survival. In this new day, my friends, in this new day, we should all be coming home like prodigal children and receive our golden rings and our fat calf so that we can be reborn with a new spirit. Our women should pay attention to their roles as the soil that give birth not only to the seed but to this nation, to be good nurturers, first educators, and loyal supporters, to be that vehicle that pushes the family to develop the positive mind and body as to how to be a proud and stable Israelite community. Our young men should put away their guns and pick up a book or anything that is more important to life than a bullet. Anything that will one day put us in leadership, in the driver's seat, put us there once again. Training ourselves how to be professionals and politicians, leaders rather than followers. There is nothing that we cannot do or change as a collective body. We should learn how to create our own independent culture, away from those in this world, the ones that are made us trained to respect and love, that has no value to us as a people, especially if it interrupts and corrupts our own spirituality, like Easter, Christmas, Halloween, and all others. They do much more damage than good to us. And it all comes for our children's enjoyment, so that they would grow up to be that lost child again, like our fathers before us. For this reason, the Israelite Nation Worldwide Ministry is not a typical so-called church. We are recognized in our community with an official and recognized constitution that is in the hand of the competent authority in Ottawa since 1990. We have our own designed and recognized flag, as any nation is supposed to be. We have our own anthem and a coat of arms, our own pledge and creed. The Israelite nation is set up and organized as a transparent body of government, unlike any other religious institutions. We have a council and functions as a local and legal functioning governing body. When all that is said and done, it still does not mean that the spirit that we have encouraged within us will gravitate. it would never graduate and gravitate to order, neither discipline. Some may be in a habit of not caring where life takes them. Even it is like a runaway train on a broken track without any proper direction. Some takes life and living for granted with no life's destination and no destiny, and ending their borrowed time without a dream, without a purpose, and anything of value in this life. Some are very dependent all of their lives on others who have sacrificed. And some, my dear friends and brethren, are proudly known as true Israelites. I sincerely hope and pray that the day has come for the ascension of our people from the street corners to the boardroom, from the dung heap to the mountaintop, but most importantly, from the philosophy of Master's doctrine to the embracing of our own. We have descended from a very rich and religious culture. For those that brought us into slavery, it is time for us to ascend back to being the children of our Father again. To be the children of our fathers and our forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Society of today have taken the shackles off our hands and our feet, the yoke of iron from our necks, and we have placed them all in our hearts and our minds. Let this be the day when we take those shackles from our minds and replace them with the freedom of independence of self. It is time for us to turn the pages that have blotted out all the things and that were meaningful to us in our own individual lives, to assist those in turning their page as a community of Israelites. In building our own community, we must learn to speak with one voice. The time for the crabs and the barrel mentality should not only be put on hold, but must be eliminated completely from our thoughts and our actions towards one another. The time of criticizing should be replaced with all of our time and energy spent in rebuilding our Israelite community brick by brick for the future, for those that will come after us. We must stand firm and show the togetherness for the young Israelites that will come after us, that they may enjoy the legacy that we leave for them to follow. And those that are not of our people will notice our values and learn to respect us again as it was before. It was before when we were rulers of this planet and even want to follow us again. The plan is to get the entire world to recognize and serve our Father in order to increase our blessings, spiritual and otherwise. Others have tried and succeeded in having us serving their God. In order for them to achieve their blessings, it is time that we do the same for our God. We should never forget our past, but never build on the memory on this bridge. We should learn the new route, how to cross over that bridge where so many of the houses of our minds and attitudes are built upon. We should learn how to transport our thoughts and behavior into the new day where the sun is brighter and tomorrow will yield a promise of wealth and prosperity. We should no longer find ourselves shouting and screaming at the street corners, but be in the boardroom planning how to make our people great again. 400 years, the world was looking down at us. My dear friends, this is a new day. It is time for the world to start looking up at us. We need one day that we all can celebrate, no longer as the children of slavery, but as the children of the promise. We should all learn how to stand up for the month of August, our Thanksgiving month, and our Freedom Month. A month that we should use as a springboard for our future. A month, by the power of our faith, help us to propel us out of the muddy waters of yesteryears into a tremendous leap towards every August. We should look back and see what we have accomplished since the last August. May the God of Israel continue to shower his blessings upon all of us, and let's work to make this Israelite community great again. My dear friends and brethren, I would like to leave you all with peace, love, truth, prosperity, and power. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one.
Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one.
Thank you.